Hi, this is Timothy Toye. I'm the broker for Timothy Toye & Associates, and here's some advice that you might find useful when it comes to selling your home. One of the mistakes sellers often make is overpricing. So let's talk about that a little bit. Any seller wants to maximize their selling price. And why wouldn't you? You want to get as much as you can within whatever your time frame is. And we are supportive of that with every seller. We want you to get the best possible price. That begins with what we call a comparative market analysis, or CMA, where you look at written comparables. Make sure that you always are given written comparables by your listing agent. Certainly that should absolutely be the case with us, and any other realtor should always be giving you written comparables. So the last thing we want to do is undersell your property. We want to give you as much information as possible so you can make the best estimation as to where the market is and what you think is the best strategy, the best pricing strategy, and we can help give you input on that, but it's always up to you. We normally err on the side of being a little bit optimistic. Necessarily we have to be optimistic because we're salespeople, but we usually go a little bit higher in our recommended sale price just to make sure we're not underselling it. Even so, very often the seller wants to try even higher, which we're fine with. It's your property, you should decide what you want to do. It's just we want to make sure you've got the best information that you're going on and making whatever decision you are. What is the best time to sell a property? Well, experience shows that's when it's first on the market. Why is that? Well, it's a phenomenon we call buyer backlog. At any given time in the market, there will be a number of buyers who are perusing the online listing databases every day, seeing what's new. If something new comes on, they're excited, they want to look at it. And so there's a freshness about it, and that can work in your favor. But of course the pricing has to be accurate. If the pricing is too high, you can miss out on the phenomena of buyer backlog and getting your home sold rather quickly. Then you run the danger of the home becoming stale. It's sitting on the market too long. Unfortunately, from our point of view, these public databases show how long properties have been on the market. And if it's been on the market a while, even if a buyer is interested in it or have even seen it, they may become doubtful about it because is there something that we're not seeing even though we like it that other buyers are seeing? Are we missing something? And so it's easy for them, especially when they're spending such a large amount of money, for them to fall into doubt of mind. So that's something to keep in mind. Another mistake people make is putting in a negotiating margin and holding on to that even when it's working against you as a seller. So we talk about wiggle room. People want you to come down. Of course they want you to come down. Buyers typically want to get the property as low as possible. But does that mean you have to come down? No, it's not. There's no rule that says that you do. In fact, this can really work in your favor. Bear in mind, before a buyer makes an offer on your property, or any property for that matter, they have to make all kinds of decisions other than just the price they offer. They have to decide if the home is big enough, if it works for schooling for their kids, if it's within commute distance, if they can handle the maintenance of it, if the yard is level enough, all those kind of decisions. So they have to say yes to all of those before they make an offer on your house. Most buyers, we find, don't want to make an offer until they've answered all those questions, and they don't want to be disappointed. So if your negotiating margin, maybe it's 5% or something like that, especially if the home isn't selling, we recommend considering minimizing that or even eliminating altogether. So how can that work in your favor? So say your property is on the market for $310,000 and you decide to bring it down under $300,000. The least you can take, say, is $295,000. That's the bottom line. If you don't get that, you're not going to sell, you're going to hang on to it. Now, what if there's another home that's basically similar to yours that's also on the market at $310,000? They will take $295,000 also. You decide to bring your house asking price down to $295,000, but you're not going to budge. Suddenly your home looks more attractive when compared with that home and other homes on the market. It's not always just your area, it's other areas that buyers can be looking at as well. The other thing that sellers sometimes do that's a mistake is holding on to your price for too long. With our company, we do guaranteed marketing. It's very full, very extensive, so you can evaluate how effective or attractive or appealing your price is on the market within a relatively short period of time, like within 30 days or 45 days max. So if you're not getting serious interest or an offer within that period of time, it's probably because it's priced above where the market is currently. The other thing to take into account, what's the market doing? Is it flat, even falling, or is it like booming? So that's another thing. If it's flat or falling, it can certainly work against you holding out for that price too long. Yep. Now, let's say you get an offer of $285,000. You're on the market at $295,000, you get an offer of $285,000. You go back to that buyer at $295,000. Is the buyer going to be disappointed? Yes, they are. They're hoping to get it for $285,000. But they've already said yes to all these other factors about the house, and so what stands between them and getting the home? $10,000. How does that translate into real terms for them? Well, $10,000 at 6% mortgage rate, which is sort of where it is now, is $6 per month per thousand. So $10,000, $60 a month, $2 a day. So consider this with a buyer. You've said yes, it works for everything else. It works for commuting, children, schooling, maintenance, all those questions. You come back to the buyer, we come back to the buyer, or their agent does, and said, for an extra $2 a day, you can get this house. That's the real cost to them, assuming they can borrow $10,000 more. However, you as the seller, that's $10,000. You can do a lot with $10,000. So it's not necessarily the same, the money effectively to buyer and seller. So that's a strategy we suggest that you take a good hard look at if you're having trouble moving your property. The other thing, of course, if you lower your price, your asking price, you're going to get more showings. The property suddenly looks more attractive, it looks more competitive, and very often we've seen a property's been sitting on the market for a while, the seller decides to reduce their asking price even to the minimum that they will sell it for, and suddenly there's more showings, and suddenly there's an offer, and suddenly the buyer will pay the asking price, because after all, they're just looking for a good deal. Does it matter that you didn't come down? They wish you had, but after all, they've got the house they really want. So hopefully that's yours if this is something you're going to be looking at. Thanks for watching. Happy selling. Let us know if we can help in any way.